patch time! New patch is out and I'm going to discuss it because there are balance changes that I want to mention, and as you know from the last video, I really like talking about balance. Speaking of the last video, I want to mention fast that the feedback on that was really nice. I was honestly surprised that the feedback was that good. I thought that I could have done a better job and some parts were boring and I could have talked better. I repeated myself quite a few times and I made quite a lot of pauses, although I cut some of them out. I think I could have done a better job, but I'm glad that people liked it. Also, people requesting for 1.5x speed on videos. I have no control over it, okay? Let's just settle this now. This is on your end, I think, or on YouTube's end, somehow affecting the player. There are different players, like players that have the speed option, players that have a different option. And I think the players that have the speed option are more laggy or something. That's what was reporting. So I have no control over this, okay? So I can't give you the speed options. Although it makes me feel bad that people want to watch me high speed. But anyway, let's move on to the patch notes. There are 3 new avatars. Well, the Bunny Predator is returning, there's Chainsaw Maraxis, and there's also a Geomancer avatar that looks decent. I don't know, they're all premium, and adding a new voice to Bunny Predator is just Estus way to make him premium, 3,000 silver coins. So, whatever. The new free pull, I don't go over that, I'm afraid, so sorry about that. I'm more interested in balance changes now. Here we go. Closures, Sheepstick, and Barbed Armor can now be disassembled. More or less useless changes. Yeah, I honestly tried to think of it and I cannot think of anything good that you can do. I mean, Barbed Armor and Sheepstick are by themselves really good items. I'm not sure why would you disassemble them, and components you get are just like... I guess it's just because they don't need a recipe and it's like, well, they should be disassemblable, lol. But they're not, so it's more of a fix. Next we have Thunderclaw recipe reduced to 800 gold. Yeah, the item was kind of weak, but I think people didn't notice it, didn't know its full potential, because right now, at least I am starting to farm much more and starting to realize how important farm is. And Thunderclaw is actually really good for farming, especially on ranged heroes that don't benefit from Rune Cleaver. So this item just needs to be discovered more. Thunderclaw was good, and either it was underpowered and S2 is trying to buff it, or S2 is just trying to give players like the push needed for them to start using this item to realize how good it is. Next we have hero balance. The only hero that I mentioned in my previous video was Draconis, and I said I didn't know what category he belonged to. I said that he could have been underpowered, he could have been overpowered, but I mentioned that he was never like, oh my god, that is too strong. I never had that feeling. So here his ultimate received a duration increase. I never knew that his ultimate was this short. I always thought it was longer. I didn't know it was this short. So definitely a needed buff, I think. Also about the balance videos, I think I more or less got the green light, I guess, to continue doing the videos and just keep comments coming in the balance discussion. I read all of them, even if I didn't respond to them, so that's pretty important to note. Excellent. And next we have Rolling Blade was changed. I think it's bugged at the moment, but let's assume that it was fixed. The way this works is that it has overall a higher chance of spinning, and it still guarantees a spin on the 12th attack. So the chances increased by 8% every attack, and after 12 attacks it's 96%. So it's not 100%, but it's forced to be 100%. It's a forced spin. So on average, Legionnaire will spin more from the stats and the discussions that I read about this change. Legionnaire will now spin more, but he won't spin on the first attack as much. So I think that was a nice fix. Sometimes Legionnaire just spins 5 times in a row, sometimes he doesn't spin at all. Which I think this is a really good change, to just remove random from this game, because random can be good sometimes. I think the only thing that random does well is making games shorter. It's like if you get lucky, the game will end faster, and HoN games need to be shorter. That is the only reason I see for random, like honestly. And the skill is still pretty random, just less random, so it's cool. Pandemonium got a buff, you needed it. Pandemonium, the main problem with the hero is how he eats mana. He demolishes it. So because of that, he needed the buff. Cast time reduced from 300 to 200. Basically, this means that he will jump faster. He'll jump from the ground faster when you use his E. That's it. A little bit faster. So it should be easier to land that. I needed buff, I think. And Zephyr, the #1 tanky metagame hero, who also farms like crazy. I'm not surprised he got a nerf because he needed it. So Cyclones no longer gains charges from non-gaining units. This means you don't gain charges from catapults. And I think that's pretty much it. That's it. That's all this first line does. Second, Gauss damage lowered. Well, Gauss damage was never really a problem, so this change was a surprise, but I guess it's an attempt to make the hero weaker. And ultimate cooldown increased on lower levels. Yeah, this is like a small nerf, but not too huge of a nerf, like adjustment to the hero. So I think that this was definitely required because Zephyr was too strong of a hero, honestly. He needed this nerf. And optimization bug fixes, I'm not going to go over that. So I like S2's new direction of many little balance changes instead of one big balance patch. I like this approach much more. It just gives us more stuff. And like adjust the heroes faster and better, I think. Just like this approach overall. I agree with all of the changes, as always, so... Well, not always. Sometimes I do disagree with some changes, but in this patch I agree with all of the changes. They were good. Except the... well, yeah, all of them were good. And required. So that's my take on the new patch. The balance videos, I will try to make them a bit more interesting and repeat myself a bit less. Don't forget to comment to my chat to troll me, like a lot of people are doing. To do it, you just type SomaZ here, and that's it. You're in my chat. Ask me to invite you in my clan. That there is no requirement. Just ask me. And if there are no bugs, like there are always some bugs and problems with it, if there are no bugs, you will be in my clan, which is just for fun. The name of the clan is Blame the Team, if you remember. So it covers everything. Covers the new patch. Not sure I'll be playing today, but we'll definitely be playing tomorrow. So see ya.